Medical writing is one of the easiest skills that doctors can develop to increase their income. Most doctors think they only have two options. One, slog away at clinical work, or two, leave medicine altogether. But there is a third way. And in this video, I'm going to break down to you different types of medical writing and why I think every doctor should consider it as an alternative career. If you're new here, I'm Dr. Nix, and I built a six-figure portfolio career as a registrar, and medical writing was one of those things. Why should you listen to me though? Well, when it comes to medical writing, I have a bit of experience. I've written chapters in books, I've done medical education, I've written for global journals. I'm currently an editor for a global high impact journal, and I write. I have a newsletter, I have a blog. So in this video, I'm going to break down the different types of medical writing, how you can get into it, and if you stay to the end, I'll tell you which one pays the most. So the first thing to say when it comes to medical writing is that it is just a form of communication, and what you're trying to do with any form of communication is you're trying to influence the reader. So that's a principle that you want to think about. And when it comes to the different types of writing, you want to think about who you're influencing, who's paying you, and how you can do that effectively. So let's start with the first one, medical communication. Medcoms, for me, I think it can be quite simple for doctors to pivot into because we communicate through our writing every single day. When you take a patient history and you write it down, you are communicating, you are telling a story. And when it comes to medcoms, it is similar, okay? So it's storytelling and you are communicating to doctors, to other healthcare professionals, and sometimes to pharmaceutical reps or drug company reps. And your boss would most likely be pharma companies, or it can be societies for, like the Royal Colleges. You can write communications for them. And in medcoms, you can write slides for pharmaceutical companies when they're making presentations. And so it really attracts doctors who are good at breaking down complex information and communicating to other doctors. Okay, so that's medcoms. If you've got any questions about that, write it down in the comments and I'll get to it. The next type of writing is health journalism and blogging. And this is slightly different because your audience is different. So your audience are the general public and patients. And so the way you would write when it comes to health blogging or health journalism is slightly different, because you're trying to influence a different audience. So the skill is slightly different. However, it's something that you can break into as a medic because you have that clinical expertise to begin with. So your boss would be, or who'd be paying you, your boss would either be yourself as a freelancer, or it would be media outlets that potentially want you to write for them to communicate to the general public. Now, this is good for people who like breaking down information into simple bite-sized formats to the public. So if you're someone who likes to explain conditions at work, if you're someone who's a GP or an A&E, this could potentially be for you. And then of course, academic and research writing. That's the one thing that most people think about when they think about medical writing. But for the purposes of this video, I'm just throwing it in here for completeness. Academic and research writing, which we all know how that comes about as doctors or healthcare professionals. And that writing is slightly different because it is within the remit of medicine. And you don't tend to get paid that much for it because it comes with grants or with a research project. And so you rarely get standalone academic or research payments. So if you were doing that, you'll be doing it as part of an institution, but there is a bit of potential for commercial interest when it comes to grant proposals and so on and so forth. If you're enjoying this video, you will definitely enjoy my school community where I have other resources that help doctors who want to pivot or who want to add an extra income by exploring how they can use their skills, develop those skills and leverage them for extra income. The link is down in the bio, so you can click on it now. Make sure you subscribe and like this video so that you don't miss the next one. Okay, moving on. Medical copywriting. What is copywriting? That is essentially where you're writing copy, and this is usually for in the digital space. So for websites, for pamphlets, it can be for pamphlets, it can be for, you'd be doing it for health agencies, for marketing. You can do it for, companies that are trying to reach members of the general public. Copywriting is a bit more persuasive. So this tends to attract doctors who are a bit more creative in their writing, who can influence the reader a bit more, and you can use copywriting in advertising. It can be used in the digital space, online, for websites, and so on and so forth. So they want you to translate information, sometimes to patients. I say patients, general public, sometimes to other doctors. It depends on the context. But copywriting, again, is a specific type of medical writing that you can get into. Then you've got continuing medical education writing. If you're someone who's heavily into education, there's medical education writing. You can write for newsletters, course materials, quizzes, case studies, that sort of thing. So you can write for companies who are selling courses and so on and so forth, but it has an educational aspect to it. So you can go to write for experts and other industry leaders, so people who are writing books on medical information and they want them information to be accurate, or you want to write for films even, you can do that. That's ghostwriting. You can write books, articles, speeches. The world is literally your oyster. Now on to the final thing, which is regulatory medical writing, and this is the one that actually pays the most. You've got to think about, why does it pay? Follow the money. You've got to think a bit commercially, a bit like an entrepreneur, a bit like you're an asset, a bit more commercially. You have to be a bit more commercially minded, because you have to think, where does the money come from ultimately when you are writing? Now, when you're writing research papers and you're doing academic writing, where does the money come from and why does it pay so little? So that will help you understand why regulatory writing pays the most, because it's usually big pharma, health tech who are paying you. These are the guys that are paying you to write clinical trial reports or drug improvement reports, and they want you to, because with regulatory writing, you're writing to the FDA or to NICE, and if you get a drug approved because you've written safety summaries in a way that is acceptable and gets their drug approved, they are in millions and billions pounds in profit. And so these are the companies that pay the most. So you've got to think, who's paying? What do they get out of it? What commercial benefit is there from the writing that I'm doing? And then that will inform you on how much you get paid for it. But if you've gone through this video, you should have some sort of appreciation of the different types of writing. We've been through medical copywriting, academic writing, blogging, journalism. We've gone through medical education, ghostwriting, regulatory writing, medical communications. Now, in my opinion, I think that every doctor should consider medical writing, because we write every day and it's a skill that can just be developed very easily. There's a low threshold to enter in, and all you have to do is just stick at it. And if you're interested in doing that, like I said, join my school community. I've got some resources in there for people who want to get into medical writing, or send me a message. Make sure you like this video, and I'll see you on the next one.